Alright, now it all comes back apart again. These gaskets come off, which I might have should have taken it off, and then I could have just done this. But bolt everything up, well, put the gasket in between here. Get these bolts in, bolted up to the head. Once it's bolted to the head, make sure that there's not a gap in the exhaust manifold once the intake is tight to the head. And torque down the manifold connecting bolts. And then pull it off and put the gaskets back on. Which I'll do tomorrow. But for you, it's in 3, 2, 1. So now I need to close this up. You can see the disparaging difference between the exhaust and the intake quite readily. 4. It was not 4, that was 4 and 3, which was 7. Okay, 3 thousandths. Yeah. 4. Pretty close. 5. I'm going to say it's 4 thousandths anyway. Might be enough for the gasket crush. But do I chance it? Because the other part of this equation is that right where the clamp holds it down is tight against the head, and I've got a gap here, which means I should probably file that down a touch so that I have equal clamping force. Same way on this side. Oh, it never ends. It just never ends. Oh, that's right, I've got bolts in here. I really don't want to pull this manifold. Really, really bad. I'm gonna have to shave some off of this right here and that right there. And theoretically off both ends, because both ends clamp up tight and there's still a gap in the center. But I'm only 4 thousandths. And I think I can take that up with the crush. I just need to have even clamping force all the way around on this, in theory. That's my theory anyway. Now I'm supposing this thing was made for sharpening knives, but it sure has worked out splendidly for what I'm doing. It's gonna be a while. A long while. I think I might start with something a little heavier, faster cut. Because I really don't feel like standing inside this engine compartment very long. After all, only got to take off 4 thousandths, right? Well, that's progress. Shows me I'm high here and here. I'm still low across the bottom, which I didn't measure, but it's definitely indicating where it was blowing by on the head. Ooh, looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. As long as the angle of it matches the angle it's machined on the head, we'll be okay. Once I get within that couple of thousandths, I'm going to quit. Almost making contact all the way across here. Contact all the way across the top now. Ah! No. Okay. I have been defeated. Try as I may and try as I might. The ends will meet up nice and flush. And you'll still have good good 17, 18, maybe 20 thousandths gap. It's just never, ever, ever going to line up. That means I have to attempt to pull those bolts off. Now, when I told you I was standing inside the engine compartment, I am standing inside the engine compartment. It's moiter, I tell you. Alright, so now not only do I have to avoid breaking the manifold, the casting, but I also have to avoid breaking that downpipe casting as well. Sure looks like a casting. And then hopefully there's a 3-bolt header flange gasket that fits that size. Oh, it's all unknown. So I'm thinking that's a bolt coming up from the bottom because it's got a nut on the top and then that other little jam nut. So there's no point in trying to take them apart. Just loop tip wrench them and be done. Did you hear that? Did you hear the way the torch was lit? Don't you ever do that. That cool down and come back tomorrow. But for you, it's in 3, 2, 1. However, it's like 5 days later. Almost a week. It's plenty cool though. So I took the chance that these are through bolts and not just bolts threaded through there with nuts on the top side to keep them backing through. I'm going to have to jack it up, crawl underneath, get a long extension because this is just no leverage here. But before I go through all that trouble, let us attempt. That was a successful attempt. So I have a nice clear shot on this one. I have no shot on that one back there. I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, as soon as I knock this one out, all the pressure's on that one. Pinching und binding, and I'm thinking I need to try to get this one out prior to the pinching und binding, and I can pinch und bind here. I am relieved, however, that they are through bolts and not threaded. Just so that it don't fall off. That's all I want. Oh, yes. Might as well do this while I'm down here. I wonder if rattling it will assist. Well, I'm not going to try rattling it. We're going to try driving it through. Doesn't appear to be doing anything except throwing chips back at me. Looks like it's not quite blown out of there enough with the torch. Well, that makes it appear as though it has been cut off plentifully. It's just playing hard to get. This is playing I want you to break the ear off of it. That's what it's playing. There we go. I can live with that. Now the whole stud's going to come out. Which means the whole thing's going to drop down as soon as the stud comes out. Which means I got to jack that back up again. So now that my back is feeling a little bit better, should I be bending over this fender trying to lift this manifold out of here? After all, my back's feeling better. What to do? What to do? Figures it has to get stuck on a rock. I would like to avoid smacking it into the firewall. And the radiator. I can live with that. Yep, I'm saying that was much easier on my back. It's back from the machine shop. Nice and flat. But what I'm working on is getting the fused gasket unfused from the casting. So using the small chisel and the small peen hammer, we are chipping away. Don't worry, it'll work. It really will. The reason you're not going large is because you don't want to put great big chisel gouges in the casting. Those aren't great big, but they're chisel gouges nonetheless. We want to avoid that. Just want to shatter it. Yes, an angle grinder would be much faster. However, you're not going to end up with as nice of a surface as I'm about to. With the angle grinder, you take the large chance of gouging out too much material, which will not seal up afterwards. This one they tried taking down with the belt sander to not much avail. That's too thin to chip off. Since I never use this to sharpen my knives, it's coming in right handy in this project. Trying to get a reflection on it. I think you could see it. Enough. Alright, another angle perhaps. There you go. Flat enough. I might have to be hollering this out a little bit. This is one of those Ramflex. They happen to have a half set at my local mom and pop auto parts store. There's that phalange right there. I'm wondering if I might have to take my cutoff wheel and trim that back. Oh, the processes never end. It's simpler to cut the gasket, probably less dangerous to cut the gasket. All I have to do is leave my impression on it. First, some alignment. And the old 3/8 bolt will do. Now I just have to cut that out. You know that only goes on one way, right? You do know that, don't you? I don't know why you'd want to try crossing your fingers, because generally you can't cross your fingers and do what it is you're trying to do anyway. Nothing. Shall I rattle it from below? Yes, yes, I think I shall. Rattling! That is a beautiful thing. Oh, you thing, you. We'll just use one then. This will take a little while. But wait! This is different now. What's that? 198. $374. $186 or 66. 166. 184. 166 is 3. Not enough. Shaving. Why? Look at this one. It's done been homemade. I gotta find the third one anyway. I might have to homemade me one myself. Trimmed. Like it. One! Well, it happens to be 3 days later. And now somebody's pulling up in the driveway. Anyway, this is still loose. I gotta take care of some other business. Fell off the jack. That's what happened. But definitely blown out on the head. Well, it's not blown out on the head, but it's definitely indicating where it was blowing by on the head. There's an indication on the head where it was blowing by. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, I'm thinking maybe I'll have to throw a nut on there. It's back from the machine shop. Nice and flat. But what I'm working on is getting the gasket, having fused itself into the casting, off of there. But what I'm working on is getting the fused gasket. Well, by all appearances, it doesn't look as bad. Why? It's not near as bad. However, That's not the kind of gasket that I got.
You thing, you. Just use one then. We'll just use one then.
Oh, the fly.